Welcome, everyone. Happy Monday. It's Versus, and it's a Minecraft movie mayhem at the box office. That's right. No one saw it coming, but there it is. Minecraft dominated. Maybe thanks to TikTok. Maybe thanks to targeting the audience that actually would like a Minecraft movie. So there you go. Plus, your comments, questions, our amazing panel. So let's get going. I'm not enough cups of coffee in, but let's go. Let's go. Hey everyone, welcome. Excited to have you all here. Burnett is joining us a little bit late today, but we got the main crew here. This is great. I'm excited. And Nerd Cookies is back. Very excited. She has watched her new intro. It is epic. I actually got chills watching it, I gotta say, which was great. So everybody introduce themselves and talk about your channel, and we'll get going.
Well, hey, yeah, I'm Elaine at Nerd Cookies, and I am so jealous of Meyer Burnett because he got to see Project Hail Mary at CinemaCon, and I'm so excited for it. I think I'm going to throw up.
Hey guys, Dante from Verbal Riot, and I don't understand what happened at the box office this weekend.
Hey, Script Doctor, back again to diagnose all of Hollywood's woes. You can find me over at youtube.com/scriptdoctor.
Yo, what's up, Derek Anderson, the DA? I'm looking forward to this conversation because it outlines everything we've been saying. Listen to the fans, and you can't go wrong.
My name is Stephanie with My Nerdy Home, and I spent way too much time on TikTok after watching the Minecraft movie.
I'm jealous of Robert because it's his birthday all year round, and now I'm jealous of Dante because he's probably going to have a CBD sponsorship. But let's talk about chicken jockeys. They didn't listen to the fans. They capitalized on TikTok.
Alan Ing, film threat, editor-in-chief. Boys are stupid. Little boys. What? You gotta boost the.
Should I boost it?
Down, yeah. So people.
Can boost it? Let me do it again.
Yeah, boys are stupid.
There we go. Let's see who's here in the chat. We've got a bunch of people. Lord Thaw says, like, share, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, sign up as a member, join us on X, Discord, Rumble, and Instagram, and buy our merch at shop.filmthreat.com. I will share screen because I have our new super, wait, what am I doing? Stop
That's
sharing that. Stop that. That you're not supposed to see that. Oh my God. That's our Discord for our editors here. I'm very tired, folks. I mentioned it. Shop.filmthreat.com. Check out our merch. Get our superhero style collection and check that out. And a couple things here. Let's do some quick.
Oh, hey, by the way, we have a guest.
Yes, Burnett is here. Hey, Rob.
How's it going? Good to see you.
You've got your CinemaCon voice.
No, I'm back. I was just trying to be cool.
You gotta start doing movie trailers now.
In a world where one man and one gecko lizard.
By the way, Robert, you were not at CinemaCon because we ran into everybody.
How did I know?
For you.
I was everywhere at CinemaCon. And I left up $386 too.
Nice.
Yeah,
some quick soups, if you would, at Badger, and then we will get right to our first topic.
Lord comment for 2. That's what she said.
Hell yeah.
M for 2. Minecraft was better storytelling on YouTube. Torgo the White, member for 13 months. Ryan Kinnell's giant forehead knew Minecraft would be money. Yeah.
There.
K Manifesto for 10. What's up, Chris, Alan, and Film Threat crew? Always great to catch the best in film talk live.
Oh, thank you.
And then Lord comment for 2. Afternoon, Chris Gore. Saw ya at Nerdrotic. Great job.
Thanks. I was
C Black for $1.99. My theater is almost sold out for Thunderbolts.
Well, we will talk about it, but first we must discuss the box office. Alan, you've got the numbers. Bring it up. And by the way, it should be noted that everyone was wrong about this movie. Everyone was wrong. Here's the thing. 50 fully. I don't know if you heard this step. 53% of the box office for Minecraft was walk-up business, not reserved, not advanced tickets. Walk up, just walked up, bought a ticket, saw the movie. I have never heard a stat like that. Like the predictions for this were off by half. So, Alan, why don't you go through the numbers, and then I want to hear people comment on this. Is crazy.
Just so you know, the sidebar here only has 8 people on it. Only allows 8 people.
Oh, sorry about that.
That gets everybody. So, just FYI.
All right.
But number 1, Minecraft at 163 million domestic, 313, I believe, worldwide. Followed by last week's number 1, which is A Working Man, dropped 53% at 7.2 million. The Chosen, Jesus, people love Jesus more than Snow White. And
as they should.
That's good.
Yeah, so there you go. But The Chosen, both parts coming in strong for Fathom Events.
Those are just TV episodes, by the way, put together. So thankfully they chose Jesus.
And then we got rounding out the bottom at number 4, Snow White. I'm surprised it's there with 5.9 million, drop of 59%. The Woman in the Yard at number 5, 4.5 million. Number 6, Death of a Unicorn, 2.6. 7, Chosen the Last Supper Part 1. 2 Jesus movies in the top 10. Hell of a Summer at number 8, which I saw, and I'll review it later this week at 1.7. The Friend, a movie Alan plans to see. It's about a dog. Number 9. Alan, you have to see it.
Yeah.
At 1.6. And Captain America, Brave New World at number 10, 1.3 million. And by the way, it should be noted, biggest opening of the year is a Minecraft movie directed by an indie filmmaker, Jared Hess. How do we explain this?
Audience anticipation, legacy of an IP that's really well integrated and still active to this day. And also, I guess, the TikTok phenomenon, which Steph can speak much more to than I could.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was marketed very well on TikTok. So this movie resonated with that group of people. It makes sense that this is mostly walk up, considering that generation doesn't really go to the movies. So I don't really expect them to have like the Fandango or movie app downloaded to their phone. So their parents are just taking them to the movies, giving them money, and dropping them off. And if you look at TikTok, if you see all the TikToks, it's mostly young boys. I think it's like 85% boys in the theater. And there's no parents around. So they are dropping them off and they're buying their tickets there at the theater. So yeah, the walk up, a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. But it is.
I think really quickly, I just think this is what it means. You know, when they say this wasn't made for us or made for you, this was literally made for a specific group, and that group showed up.
Mm-hmm.
That group showed up, right? This wasn't meant for grown adults. This wasn't meant for people who don't play the game. This was meant for a certain crowd, and that crowd showed up and supported this movie.
I think this also speaks to the fact that the idea that theaters are dying is a myth because the money is there. A movie like this, it's not a good movie, but people came out in droves. People spent money. A third of $1 billion. It's going to probably hit $1 billion. The money is there. People will buy tickets to see good movies, good event movies like this.
But here's the thing: you say the movie wasn't good, right? And I do agree to some extent. But here's the thing: I didn't hate the movie either. I thought it'd be
very
just
glowing,
and I walked out there. I'm like, it was fine for what it was.
Yeah.
Like I didn't hate it.
I mean, compared to Snow White, yeah. Snow White tried everything it could outside of its story and stars to attract children. The movie is just loaded with cute animals. but it had that. It had a message that people just weren't into, and it had a lot of creepy things that people weren't into. So but my whole point is the idea that the theaters are dying. It's not the theater's fault; it's Hollywood's fault.
Oh yeah, and then also Hollywood has greatly underestimated the 10 to 18 market when it comes to other films out there. This is like the first one that kind of hits that niche really hard, and all the more power to them, because the theaters need this, Warner Brothers needs this, and also this is kind of like, how do you do pandering right to your target audience? And I think Minecraft is a most recent and positive example of that.
Well, here's my question: like, will we consider this? Do we consider this? Do we consider this an event movie?
Yeah.
Yes.
TikTok.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I guess that's the sauce then, right?
But they're going to learn the wrong lesson, Dante. That you shouldn't go to one of these movies and be like, I didn't hate it. The story should be great and endearing. It could have been about him and a family. Instead, it's a viral.
Considering I'm not the target audience at all, and I still didn't hate it. I mean, that's not bad. Like I'm not the audience for this.
How many gummies? You have to rate the movie based on how many gummies.
I only had two, but the thing is, I don't know. Like it just wasn't that horrible of a film. Like look, even Jack Black, who I thought would be completely obnoxious, didn't bug me all that much in this movie.
Oh,
Go
ahead.
It touched on a specific market, a demographic of young boys who grew up in the meme culture and whose primary entertainment are video games. It's all online, Twitch, TikTok, YouTube, a ton of free entertainment right at their fingertips. This is what they grew up with. And yeah, it's stupid, but yeah, you find a lot of stupid things that's funny and entertaining on social media, and it touched and it resonated through that. And I hope that what Disney learns from this is that if you create something, know your audience, and create something the core fan base for it will show up. They will support it in droves. That they're not going to watch. They're not going to watch Snow White. That was like clear as day. Minecraft is something that they grew up with. Yeah,
I think the idea of connecting the IP to the audience that's going to watch it, and not making what you think the audience wants to watch, but making the movie that the audience actually wants to watch, is the takeaway lesson here. Disney hasn't been doing that. They could have made a Snow White movie that connected to people that would want a Snow White movie, but making a movie about a young girl boss liberating the forest or the kingdom, from the evil stepmother and all of that, that's not the movie people wanted to go and watch. They wanted to watch a romance. They wanted to watch Someday My Prince Will Come. They wanted to see the movie that we all watched, just in live action. And, Disney didn't pull that off. So that's why nobody came to it. Also, Rachel Zegler is, it's a terrible spokesman for that film. But I think that's the thing. That's the big takeaway. They have all of these IPs. They have purchased these IPs all over the place. They're buying up video game IPs as we speak. There's going to be a Zelda movie coming out. Are they going to connect the video game franchise and the IP to the audience that's going to come and watch it? Or are they going to do something off the wall that nobody really cares about? And it's like, nope, not mine. And then, they're going to waste a whole lot of money and time and effort. I think Minecraft figured it out, or Warner Brothers figured it out with Minecraft. Let's make it for this TikTok crowd. Let's make it for these, under 15 age group, and let's watch the money roll in.
Hopefully you can hear me, but I'm not on screen right now. This layout only allows for 8. But I do want to say that I'm so excited this is a hit. The popcorn buckets for this thing are crazy. There are McDonald's Happy Meals. I'm excited because theaters need this badly. I'm surprised at CinemaCon there was not a revolt amongst theater owners, because they needed this. And look, I did not love the film. Not a Minecraft fan. I'm a fan of Jared Hess, and I like Jack Black. 20 years ago, Jack Black, not so much lately. But the fact that this knew its target, went after them. Alan and I sat in a theater in Vegas. There was a young boy and his father watching it. They loved it. They love the film. They got it. Good for them. And I don't even mind the TikTok videos. Maybe, Steph, you have some, you can put in the private chat. We'll take a look. but
Oh.
I don't mind it because I remember Rocky Horror Picture Show. And if for a certain audience, this is a thing they want to participate, I think like the sing-alongs, like I think it's fine. If you're going to the Minecraft movie and kids are getting rowdy, look, rowdy screenings are fun for certain kinds of movies, like the Terrifier movies. People go crazy during those certain types of films, group participation. Let them have that fun, and I wonder what would happen if they targeted a Star Wars movie for Star Wars fans. Imagine the money. I just bring that up.
That's what they had, Chris, with, technically The Force Awakens was targeted with all of the, hey, we're going to get Han, Luke, and Leia. It looks like they're back in the Falcon. It gave us those nostalgia member berries. Oh, yeah, I can't wait to see what their adventures are going to be like next. That's kind of what The Force Awakens gave us. And that's why that movie made $2 billion at the box office, because they gave us the promise. And then ever since then, it's just been downhill. But at least with that initial, film, it's like, hey, that's the promise of what Star Wars fans expected when we were going to get more Star Wars films. And they haven't gone back to it. They kind of went away from it in that exact same movie, and then they haven't gotten back to it.
Do you think they planned for this to go viral? By the way, you kept saying that like they targeted the right group. Isn't this just the marketing team that got really lucky with their videos going viral? And
did Warner Brothers get lucky?
That's
Warner
what
Brothers did get lucky because their marketing for this was poor. It was the TikTok fans that actually kind of blew this up.
Right.
So, I'll say it this way. I know a lot of people in Hollywood, for some strange reason, hate David Zaslav, but since he took over Warner Brothers, they've had a lot more successes than misses. With, of course, the obvious exception of like Joker Folie à Deux. That was a huge bomb for them. But when you take a look at Wonka, Dune movies, Godzilla.
That was kind of before him, though, right? That deal was made before him.
Wonka was
no, Joker.
Oh, Joker was like Toby Emmerich and them.
These are Minecraft fans in the theater.
He also removed ideology.
Yeah.
Today we are about to witness heat.
This is a little preamble. This is fun.
Yeah, I have that book.
People are having fun in the theater. Good.
To this movie today, crafted our first tools, built our first house, tamed our first wolf.
Start at the top and work your way down.
Built our first nether portal.
You're from Oklahoma.
Life has never felt the same with this game and now this movie. We finally have a meaning, a purpose to keep pushing forward. So before we witness greatness, I would love all of us to take a moment and realize the moment of our lives. Now, everyone with me, say we are Minecraft on 3.
All right, I've heard enough.
Thank you.
It's cringe. It's actually kind of cute. Yeah, it's like that's their generation. Like they absolutely
They're
love
going
this
nuts.
movie.
We're going nuts. We're going nuts.
Okay, just not sure how repeatable this whole thing is.
Well, that's a good question, Badger. Would this movie be forgotten in a year's time?
I think so.
If you don't have the heart with
curious
it,
Don't worry,
about, like,
Minecraft 2
the-
is coming out.
They'll
I'm
have
curious
enough
about like the
detail for
second,
it.
third, fourth week of this movie. Because like once like the hype dies down, they have their TikToks. They went and saw the movie. They participated in everything. Are they going to stop? Like, well, I'm interested in the drop from week to week coming up.
Right.
Simply because this is very trendy on TikTok, and they usually go to the movie theater when things become trendy. I'm wondering if it's going to have a drop in the upcoming weeks, and what kind of a drop that's going to be.
Okay, that's Rocky Horror Picture Show stuff.
I can't say I didn't throw popcorn in the theater when I was young, right? Like I did. I admit I did stupid shit in the theater. I saw Rocky Horror. I saw Dawn of the Dead. In its first run, I was too young to drive. My friends drove me. We saw it I think we started at 3 a.m. We got out of the theater. The sun was coming up. It was a very surreal moment. But I will never forget how that movie blew my mind, literally blew up ahead in the opening of the film, which changed everything for horror.
I was there opening night.
You remember. They did,
dress up, Rob?
They did a horror movie marathon, and that was the last movie they showed.
Yeah,
so
no.
We're going to see Dawn of the Dead.
For me, I had actually read I had the novelization from the Sci-Fi Book Club. So
wow.
I hadn't
I know
seen
that.
Night of the Living Dead when I saw Dawn of the Dead, because there was they didn't really show Night of the Living Dead on TV much for obvious reasons. So I hadn't seen it, and I was so excited for Dawn of the Dead, having seen pictures in Fangoria and stuff. And my dad took me to the theater, and remember, they said no one under 17 is admitted. Period. Like they weren't letting. I mean, it wasn't a rating thing, but my dad went and said that lied and said my mom was inside the theater already.
Right.
And I went into the theater for Dawn of the Dead, and there was only like 10 people there. And I ended up sitting next, I don't know why, I was sitting next to this couple, and I told them what they were in store for. And they were all excited. You know, they were like in high school or whatever.
Right.
It was one of the greatest. I mean, that movie was life-changing.
Yeah.
Seeing it at 12 years
well,
old.
the theater I was at, I mean, they weren't throwing popcorn or acting crazy, but here's the thing. They were cheering, they were clapping, and honestly, to my surprise, like the theater was full. I haven't been in a full theater in a very long time. Like most movies I go watch is pretty empty, and people showed up for this movie. So whatever they did something right.
Well, this proves maybe, and we're going to see come July, and with Thunderbolts, we will see how healthy the superhero genre is. It may be replaced with video game movies because there has not been a bomb recently. The Sonic films are a franchise.
Really good.
Yes. Right? If they're good. Super Mario, they already announced part 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is a hit. I won't be surprised.
Yeah, but we also have Borderlands too. So
right.
Well,
it was not viral, right?
I think it's video game.
I
think it's video game movies meant for kids.
Yeah,
exactly. Young boys.
And I think what's next? I said this over a year ago. I bought Skibbity Toilet action figures, which do exist. Look them up. Skibbity Toilet. I was at Dragon Con, WonderCon. There are kids dressed as Skibbity Toilet characters with the TV head or the toilet head thing. And I think they're underrated. They're very bizarre. I mean, it's not a video game per se, but I think you could make it really has an epic scale to it. That's what's coming, folks. Skibbity Toilet may get an Oscar nom. You heard it here first.
Well, maybe the key, maybe the secret is just for kids, because the next movie up for Warner Brothers, video game wise, is Mortal Kombat. And I don't think that movie's going to do well at all. I think
well, it's not for kids.
It's already a niche game. It's going to be violent, so it's going to be a rated R video game movie. So the kids are already out for that one. So they're going to take a loss on this one.
Would for those who saw this a Minecraft movie, how would you say that Jared Hess did as a director? Did it feel like he actually had a stamp on this movie? Because Disney doesn't have new directors from indie that have a stamp on their film.
Yeah, Steph, when they're 69ing through the air, how was the direction on that?
In the first, in the 20 minutes in the beginning, when they're in the real world, was like a Jared Hess indie movie.
Yeah.
What was that movie he did? Gentlemen Broncos. He did Nacho Libre. He did,
Dynamite.
Napoleon Dynamite. Amazing. It had that weirdness that I like. So it really felt like Jared Hess for those parts. Then when it got to the game world, Wizard of Oz thing, it lost me.
Felt like studio notes.
Like that. I really wish that it was a lot better because Minecraft is a game where you can be incredibly creative. I wish that they had leaned into that. They didn't show a lot of building. They showed maybe 2 things. It was just a lot of exposition. So I feel like the Minecraft players deserved more. What they got, they loved. Right. The movie embraced meme culture. It actually embraced a lot of the Minecraft YouTubers as well, because some of them were featured in the movie, and there were nods to other YouTubers. There was a nod to Technoblade, who passed away, and a lot of the young kids, a lot of the 12-year-olds are paying homage to him on TikTok right now, and they loved that he got a nod. So this movie embraces the meme culture. It embraces YouTubers who are huge, who play Minecraft, which is really cool. And while it's not my cup of tea, not at all, I think that this movie could have been a lot more creative. It could have been a lot better. It could have actually had a storyline. It could have had an impact on kids as opposed to just embracing the memes. Because I think that if it had sort of like embraced Minecraft and embraced what people fell in love with Minecraft instead of sort of just embracing like the memes of Minecraft. I think that story could resonate with kids, and it's something that you can go back and watch as opposed to just watching this like once. It's a one and done movie is what it feels like. It could have been so much better, but I'm happy it's doing well. I'm happy it's resonating with that audience. But I just feel it could have been so much better.
Yes,
And
Steph, what you said about the story, if there was a story that resonated with kids, that connected with them emotionally, that's how you get parents to come back and see the movie again.
Yeah.
You know, and I think, you know, look, $300 million is pretty good. I think it could have done a whole lot better.
Wait, you guys don't think like there was like a message to or a moral to the story? Because I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
maybe
be
I was
nice to
really,
each other. That's the
maybe I was really lit, man. But I thought there were a lot of good messages in that movie. I mean, like I said, not my kind of movie, but there were some good messages about, you know, being yourself and, you know, being don't hide your creativity, that kind of thing. And you know, they did a lot of crafting in the movie, which I think you do in the game. So I mean, I don't know. I guess I got something a little bit more out of it than.
Well, for me, it felt more like Minecraft Dungeons.
That's the thing. Like they really didn't do a lot of crafting. I expected more, and I honestly expected the little boy. I don't remember his name, but I expected like the little boy to end the movie in the diamond armor, not Jack Black. I thought it was going to be the little boy, you know, because Jack Black's like a middle-aged man. So I was just kind of like, let the younger boy wear the armor. I thought this movie was going to be like his story, you know, and Steve was just going to kind of guide him around, and he was going to be the one that, you know, saved the day or whatever. But I don't know. I kind of wanted to see the young kid in the diamond armor, not Jack Black.
Now, Minecraft, I don't know if you can say Minecraft bros, but the Minecraft fans are going after the critics who did not like the movie. Our very own Bobby Lapierre, who did the review for Film Thread, this is a comment on his review. Like, do better and change that Rotten Tomatoes review immediately. This is a threat. Whatever. I mean, I think it shows
the comments on the review haven't been kind either.
Yeah, I know. It's like, well, I mean, the reviews have been, what is it on Rotten Tomatoes now, Alan? Maybe
it's like less than 50 still.
Yeah, it's a low rating. I think deserved. It's
so what does that mean then? Like obviously that score means nothing because the box office was lit. So I mean, like, what does that say about critics? What does it say about like what we do? Because
well, it says it really
well,
does.
It says boys are stupid.
About
they'll eat they'll watch anything.
No, they don't.
Watching quality.
Theaters are suffering right now. That's why the theaters are dying, because they won't just see anything. So what did we get wrong?
We didn't know they were going to do a chicken jockey fucking viral meme that was going to make everyone lose their shit.
I think it's not embracing TikTok and TikTok culture. That's what it is, because a lot of people are rejecting TikTok. They're rejecting TikTok culture, and I understand why. It is cringe. I don't like it. I go over there just to, you know, gauge audiences, gauge young people, gauge things, you know, do a little bit of research over there, see what's viral. But in that way, I've embraced it. But most people don't. They don't embrace TikTok. They don't understand what's so great about TikTok. They like to make fun of it. But I think that's what this movie did well, right? They embraced TikTok culture. That's who they targeted. They know that they're on TikTok. They marketed it on TikTok, and the TikToks made it into
like say TikTok
viral. They you know made viral stuff out of it.
But in terms of what critics got wrong, critics are into the art of filmmaking and the art of cinema, and this is not art. This is a Minecraft movie.
It is a meme film.
Right?
Yes, a meme film. Yeah.
I mean, when this is truly a corporate product. I mean, you have to have it's a movie, so somebody has to actually make it. But at the end of the day, it's just it is designed to appeal to a specific audience to make money, and that's fine. But I don't know if this was ever going to be anything other than that, a commercial effort. I mean, Jared Hess as a director was probably the most interesting thing about this movie.
I mean, I think it could have been even bigger. The Minecraft fan base is, I mean, it's been around, the game has been around for a long time. So its age range was pretty wide there, but they really wanted to target the meme culture, the children's age of it. But I think a lot of fans were probably hoping that they would take it seriously and have a good story in there that would appeal to all of the potential and existing Minecraft fans that are just, they've gotten older, so they're not into the TikTok culture. Like Super Mario Brothers, that's how you do that. That's a video game IP that spans generations, and everyone loved that movie. So I think we were all probably hoping that would be what they would do, but no, they knew their audience that they wanted to appeal to, and they made the product for it.
Well, that's because also, though, I mean, if we're being fair, Mario is a way more known IP than Minecraft. I mean, yeah, Minecraft is big, but it's not bigger than Mario. Everyone knows who Mario is, no matter what country you're in, no matter what little town you're from, you know who Super Mario is.
And the difference is that people know those are characters, whereas Minecraft is more of a concept.
Right.
Yeah.
I
make
think that
movies every day. They play Minecraft. You know,
yeah, I think that, like, I agree with Nerd Cookies. The movie could have been huge if they had appealed to all ages of Minecraft, because there are people like who grew up playing Minecraft. The game is like 15, 16 years old. And I've seen videos saying, like, if you're a long time gamer of Minecraft, don't go see this movie yet. Like, wait until the kids are out of the theater to go and see this movie, or wait for it to be on streaming. That's what the older Minecraft players are saying. Because they're seeing everything that's going on, they're like, I don't want to go see it yet, or I'll wait for it to be on streaming. And they're kind of upset that they didn't take it seriously, that they leaned into meme culture and didn't, make something that would, embrace Minecraft instead of
could have done both.
Meme of Minecraft. Yeah,
but
it's still doing really, really well.
I think what we wanted
was kind of hard to argue with what they did when they're winning like this. It is really hard to argue with it. I'm not saying that they should have did something, or shouldn't have made a better movie. I always want, filmmakers and studios to, reach the zenith of filmmaking and storytelling and acting and directing. I want them to do the best job they can with the material that they have. They made a choice in the decision, and it looks like it worked. And it got butts in seats, and the theaters are happy. The studio is clearly happy. The fans are happy. The only people that seem like they mad is like the critics and the old heads, which, I kind of hate to see that, but it's like, it is what it is. My fear is that now the studios are going to start scraping across TikTok to find the next trend that they can make a movie out of. That's what I'm afraid of.
Fortnite.
Like, don't do that.
That's why we're upset.
We're going to do that.
That's what they're going to do.
But they shouldn't abandon this. Everyone should take the lesson is that know your audience, know your fan base. You can't just snatch up and buy up an IP and throw something on screen and think that it's going to do well. You have to know what's going to appeal to them. So Star Wars, everyone at Disney, this is what the kids are watching, that you hope that they're watching your stuff. They're not watching Skeleton Crew. They're not watching Andor. They're not watching Disney Plus. Their entertainment is found elsewhere. But so you should appeal to your Star Wars fans that you've been attacking for years and years. You need to start doing something different and appealing to those fans. And maybe, who knows, if you tell good Star Wars stories, you might get new fans along the way.
I think my craziest critique of this movie for me is like, I wanted it to be more weird. Like I wanted it to be weirder, man. Like I wanted them to get freaky with it, man. Just weird, right? But
take more gummies.
They had a woman and a villager who hooked up. That's super weird.
That was okay. Coolidge thing.
Yeah,
that was weird.
That was weird, man. Like that was.
I liked it. I liked. That's a Jared Hess thing.
Yeah. That part was weird for me.
And Jennifer Coolidge, she is down to do whatever. I get that vibe from her. I get that vibe.
Dude, that felt like a completely different movie that we were watching in that movie. Like, I was like, what is this?
They kept cutting back to that, and that actually worked. It was so bizarre. I thought, yes, see how far you can go. So let's go to Supers, and then we got a bunch of other topics. I'm excited to talk to Rob about CinemaCon. So here we go on Soups. Here, Badger.
Pilgrim Media for 2. They could be printing money, but no. Corn and Poo for 5. Minecraft going to have legs. Feel like TikTok trends won't drive ticket sales for long. Would it be successful as a sequel once the trend is dead? That was my question.
Yeah, that's my question.
Pilgrim Media for 2. Put Sydney Sweeney in a proper sexy movie. Yeah, money. Darth Maul's lower half for 5. I always hated the Disney premise that Star Wars is for everyone. No, it should have been for Star Wars fans and fanatics. Everybody else is invited to like it too. Yes.
Yep.
See Black for 2. Disney have to make a Fortnite movie now.
Do they have it? They have
that's
Fortnite?
right. They have it.
I know they have
think
an alliance of sorts.
Yeah. Didn't they
It's
try to
going.
buy
It's
it or
going
something?
to happen. Rapunzel canceled. Fortnite greenlit.
Yeah. Rudy for 5. There was a skeleton of a good movie there. They just couldn't put it together right. People know this movie is bad, but it's kind of so bad it's good. That's what it seems like also.
Jared Hess, I mean, this is his first big studio production.
Yeah.
Everything he's done previous are small little indie movies that were fine, performed fine. I like his style. By the way, it should be noted, he's Mormon. And his whole group, I know the producer, Jeremy Kuhn, I know Jared Hess. John Heder, I've never met. He plays Napoleon Dynamite, but their whole group, they're religious and they make wholesome movies. So make of that what you will.
Oh, Disney has stake
Shout
in
out to
Fortnite. That's it. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, is that so they can use their characters?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
something? Okay.
Naveen became a YouTube member. Shout out. Razorburn, member for 11 months. I remember rice, toast, and water pistols at Rocky Horror. This is now ridiculous watching what I have seen. Guess I am too Gen X for this.
Toast?
Yeah, I mean, look, this is their, you know what? Let them have their own Rocky Horror. I have no issue with it. But
Rocky Horror screenings, did you sense this kind of anarchy going on, or was it just people having fun?
Anarchy. It was I was in high school. It was awesome. You'd go, you'd bring toast and rice and crazy stuff.
It was basically scripted.
Yeah.
I mean, because people participated, like you'd put the newspaper over your head and people were using squirt guns to rain on you.
Yeah.
You know,
theaters
what I was
know
seeing
that?
in the Minecraft movie.
No.
Did the theaters know that? Like, were they expecting that theater too?
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
were.
yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Rocky
So
Horror
like,
Picture
Especially
Show,
the
yeah.
midnight showings. Yeah.
This
oh,
seems
okay.
new.
So like the theaters right now weren't expecting that. That's why you see like a ton of videos with the manager coming in, telling them like, you know, you need to calm down. The police are getting called. People are getting kicked out. There was one theater that like some of the kids body slammed a theater employee and got banned for life from that theater. And like they're leaving a mess because they're having fun. And so now like they're putting up signs saying like don't throw popcorn. So they're not expecting that. They weren't
Leave your
expecting
children
Well,
unattended.
everything that happened-
Did they
Rocky
Did they
Horror
pay for the
enhanced-
Did they pay for the popcorn they threw? That's what I want to know.
Oh yeah, they paid for everything,
theater,
and like when they would get kicked out, the theater had to reimburse them. There was a manager that said like that they've had to reimburse a ton of families that day because the families would walk out of the movie, and the kids would stay. Yeah, so that's what I was wondering. Like, so that theater was expecting it. I don't think these theaters were ready. They weren't ready at all.
That's
for
the
it.
thing. Everything at Rocky Horror enhanced the movie and the movie going experience. This was just anarchy. Kids throwing popcorn, people getting hurt. You know, that's the big difference between the two.
Is it going to hurt the industry in the long run? Because people are seeing all this pandemonium, and those who are inclined not to go to the theaters will be like, yeah, this is another thing to add for their not to go.
It doesn't help.
Everyone's
doesn't
phones
help.
were out. Everyone's screaming, and like police are being called. That's so crazy.
20 years from now, we'll have screenings of Minecraft where people will yell chicken jockey, just like their screenings of Rocky Horror Picture Show. Joe Cole for 5. This is bigger than even those numbers. I went at 9:45 a.m. on Saturday, and all of the popcorn buckets were sold out.
and they had plenty of Snow White popcorn buckets. Those they still have
and
them.
Captain America.
Yes.
Yeah,
I went
Captain
today
America.
because I was like, you know what? I want a Minecraft bucket just for the hell of it, just for the kicks. I'll go and buy one. I went to 2 theaters, all sold out, but they had a ton of Snow White ones.
That's insane, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dark Hero fan. I didn't read that. Sorry. Member for 11 months, whatever he just said. And then Vanessa for 5. Was the same thing for the Barbie movie. It was marketed to a specific audience, even though its main appeal was just bright colors and Barbie doll.
Yeah, but we'll never see that kind of marketing ever again, man. Barbie was a once in a lifetime kind of marketing for a film.
And Oppenheimer and the whole,
Yeah.
Lord Comment for 2, keep the woke out of your movies and you get money. Yeah, that was what we were talking about with Warner Brothers. They've at least now they've just taken that out, and now it's just is it good writing or not. Emma No Guy No Pay Way for 199. Saw the screener of MC, didn't know Steph in the movie. Minecraft. Steph, you in the movie? Who are they talking about? Ben Brindlebeard the third. Ben Brindlebeard the third for $199. Rob, are you looking forward to the new Cronenberg?
The Shrouds, yes, I am. He's one of my favorite filmmakers. I always look forward to anything he makes.
I've seen it, Rob.
How is it?
It's back to form for Cronenberg. Weird concept, very sexual. Feels like Crash, a little bit of Crash, a little bit.
You had me at hello.
It's
Say
yeah.
less.
I didn't like his last few movies. This is back to a really interesting concept about death.
I just got
And
the
sex.
Second Sight scanners and the Brood in 4K.
Oh wow!
So yeah, I mean, I'm a huge I can't believe he's still making movies, to be honest.
I love that he is.
Dark Hero fan. I don't control the chats. I just read them as come up. I didn't skip over it. Sorry.
Wait.
We didn't get to read
Dark Hero fan. Could you find that, Lori? We'll do it. I'm
There's
sorry.
a member
Something
chat, I believe.
happened. So we'll
All those
get-
journal for two. Touch me.
That's from Rocky Horror.
That's right. Okay, I don't want to sing.
Tony Starks. I watched
Alan-
it once as a kid. My mom forced me. I'm not watching it again. Tony Starks, thank you. Becoming a member. Film Threat. This is their Rumble rant. I'll say this movie was 90% brand recognition. Yeah.
And here is a super chat from several weeks ago. Rob has not been on in a while. This is
Oh.
for Rob.
Jordy for 10. Want to thank Rob for the Hyperion Cantos book recommendation. Best I've read in a while. The Soul Weintraub story was my favorite. Now
Yeah.
on to book 2.
Yes, the Dan Simmons is one of my favorite writers, and his Hyperion Cantos, or just the first two Hyperion books, are amazing. And Scorsese tried to adapt them, and if one day somebody's going to adapt these books, they're two of the greatest science fiction novels ever written, I think. And they're great. Somebody once called them the Canterbury Tales set in outer space, but it's not quite like that. But that's good to hear. I'm glad you enjoy the books. You have to read the other two. You have to read Endymion and Rise of Endymion now.
Now some interesting news. Alan, myself, and Rob, we all went to CinemaCon. I would encourage other YouTubers, such as the people here, to attend, because I saw plenty of YouTubers with numbers that don't come close to everyone on this panel. So there's no reason you could not apply, get a press badge, and go. But if you are unable to go, you can. If you're unable to attend as press, you can buy a ticket for, what is it, Rob?
It's over. Yeah, it's $1,000.
It's $1,000. But guess what? If you can't afford that, CinemaCon is coming to theaters. That's right. In a special, a couple of screenings. How did that ad get there? God dang it. Okay. From Temple of Geek, CinemaCon 2025 movie fans offered exclusive glimpse and nationwide sneak peek showcase.
Wow.
It goes on to say the studios that are doing this, you can find, but here's the website. We will put the link in the private chat. Let me share the actual page where you can go and see that. And I believe the major studios are all participating. Now, my sense is what they will do, they will show all the extended trailers that we got to see, and they may show some of the presentations, such as Tom Cruise, giving a
Reading note card.
Yeah. He did it great though. This is at, if you go to the link is at themovies.co, put in your zip code, you'll find a local theater playing this.
Wow.
And this is happening at the I think the 22nd and the 24th. So I think this is great, brilliant marketing. But while we're on the topic of CinemaCon, Rob, you saw the Project Hail Mary.
Oh, that was the thing I was most looking forward to seeing.
I'm so jealous of you, Rob.
Yeah. So I skipped it. What did you think?
Well, the entire Amazon, I mean, I could write a treatise on what I think the whole Amazon panel, what it meant to Hollywood. But suffice to say, I think that Amazon did, in fact, win CinemaCon this year, if there's such a thing. But Project Hail Mary is based on the third book by Andy Weir, who wrote The Martian. and it is. I read that book in one sitting, and it is a. It is a. First of all, it's a very. I don't want to ruin it if you haven't read the book, but it's basically the Earth is imperiled, and Ryan Gosling plays a reluctant hero who is tapped to. Humanity has one chance, the Hail, hence Project Hail Mary, Hail Mary Pass, to save the Earth, and he ends up going on a cosmic odyssey, and something very unexpected happens when he arrives at his destination to hopefully solve this problem. And the trailer, they didn't even deal with the main crux of what happens in that story. They only gave you the setup in the trailer, and it was great. I mean, it has a global scope to it. It's really funny. It's heartfelt. It's beautifully made. I mean, it looks incredible. And then at the very end, there is an extraterrestrial component that looks to be beautifully realized, but you only get to see a ship. You don't get to see an extraterrestrial. And the relationship between Ryan Gosling and this alien creature, Rocky, is the centerpiece of the story. And it's an incredible story. And I went out on a limb. I think Project Hail Mary will win Best Picture at the 2027 Academy Awards.
Yeah. The world needs Project Hail Mary.
If it's pulled off, and if they end it the way it ends in the book, there won't be a dry eye in the house.
So is it part like Contact, Interstellar, and
you know what? It's not heady like that. It's you know how no, this is literally. I mean, I'll say it. I mean,
it's very accessible.
Yeah. So what ends up happening is. You have a human being meeting an alien life form, but the alien is so alien, is so different than us, that they have to first figure out how to communicate with one another.
Like a rival, basically, or something similar?
Well, no, it's our physics are different. The way we perceive the universe is totally different. The life form itself is way different than us. So there's all this, couldn't be more opposite. And they have to figure out, like, how do they work together? Like, how can they even communicate? And it's not like, and it's so interesting how it happens and what's actually going on. And then they have to figure out how to work together, because both of them have arrived at this place because both of their planets are imperiled by the same thing. So this alien has come from his planet, and Ryan Gosling's come from our planet, and both planets are suffering the same fate. And if they don't succeed, both worlds, along with many others, will die. And it was so fascinating. And the thing is, watching these two creatures, it's so, what would you say, Nerd Cookies? It's so heartwarming. It's so interesting and fun. And it's intellectually stimulating, because what they end up having to do is so clever. And it has the same way that Mark Watney was trying to survive on Mars. It has that sort of that
in The Martian, in
The Martian, that ingenuity thing that's happening. And there is no rescue. I mean, no one's going to, if they don't figure this out, they're both going to die. And it's just a great, it's a great science fiction story. It's a great friendship story. It's an action adventure story. It's an apocalyptic story. And there is a component where you see characters on Earth as well. And there's a specific female character there's an actress I'd never seen before who is great in this role. I mean, the film just looks expertly made. Like, they nailed it. They nailed this book. I can't imagine and I can't wait to see. I'm glad they didn't show us the alien.
Yeah,
I hope they don't show it in any of the, because the design work of the extraterrestrial craft is amazing. It looked like the alien ship looked like the inside of a piano, kind of. It looked like the Sulaco from Aliens, if the Sulaco from Aliens was the inside of a piano with all the piano wires and the brass, and it was just perfect. It was.
And Greg Fraser's the cinematographer.
Greg Fraser's the DP.
He did Dune.
It looks incredible. And the thing about it is, it's a really heartwarming, fun, wildly entertaining story.
Yeah, that's what we need.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to put a smile on everyone's face.
For science fiction in particular, I feel like we get so much grimness and themes that are centered around realism and like realistic themes like Dune, for example, but a lot of dark and gritty sci-fi. But we need also a special place for these hopeful, optimistic, overcoming incredible odds stories. And at the heart of this story, you have those hard sci-fi elements which are fascinating and what makes it sci-fi. But at the core of its story, you have these really relatable, likable characters. And it's the characters that really shine through, the humor and the heart. And it's a story of friendship, which I think really just resonates with everyone. And it's very accessible to everyone. So I'm super excited because I think the world needs this. Audiences need these kinds of stories.
And
I don't know. The director got fired from the Han Solo film.
Yeah.
So,
right. Might have been a good thing in retrospect.
But the alien's going to go down in cinema history as one of the great alien creations ever.
Well, I can't wait. I want serious sci-fi. I loved Arrival, Denis Villeneuve. When I found out, look at his track record, Denis Villeneuve, and just like when he approaches serious sci-fi, we need more of it. And also kind of explain something they never really explained in Star Trek, how all the aliens they encounter just speak English. Sure, they say the universal translator, but how did they get to that? I like this. Everything I've heard, I'm all in.
And I do recommend the book. The book
and the audiobook too.
It's a great read.
I bought it, Rob. Thank you. Let's take a look at Tron Ares. I think it's very smart. Now, we didn't see anything more than what's been posted online, which is a quick teaser. They set it up, but let's just watch this.
See if you guys can notice Mother Anasea. She's in here. Yes.
120 miles per hour, left beam heading northbound.
Unit 12, acknowledging dispatch. Already in pursuit.
I'm looking for something. Something I do not understand. Ready? Because there's no going back.
I mean, it looks pretty good.
I'm in. I'm all in.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Yeah, what do we know about the story? It's kind of part of the script that Joseph Kosinski had to jettison for budget reasons. It's what he wanted to do originally, which is.
But I think at the end of Tron Legacy, they were kind of leaning towards this happening in this movie anyway. So I mean, it was just from the way it ended. It's kind of like it's kind of inevitable. We ended up here.
Yeah, that was his intention to. Joseph Kosinski originally said in an interview that it was to be the Empire Strikes Back of Tron, that it was to be the inversion of the previous entries of while the physical, the users were coming to the digital space were now flipped and invading into the real world. So worlds colliding. So that was an element that was already there. And the character of Ares, played by Jared Leto, that was from that original story treatment.
I'm in. I mean, I spent, a year of my life making a documentary on the making of Tron. So it's, I'm looking.
You should be very guarded then, because this is a Disney project. When we ended Legacy, Sam had left. He had full control of the grid, including the master disc. Cora was out. This is clearly some revisionist prequel stuff because they couldn't escape the grid without that disc, which they stopped Clue from getting, and then Clue reintegrated with Kevin. So I'll be very interested to see how they do this. Well, yes, that was Mother Anastasia being digitized. No Garrett Hedlund scares me.
I'll tell you, I didn't like Tron Legacy very much because I thought it was a mistake to wall off. The whole thing about Tron was it was sort of a precursor to the whole internet. And with Tron Legacy, they didn't want to deal with our entire civilization, so they created this walled off the grid thing, which I thought, why not lean into what happened in the intervening years from 82 to, the end of the aughts, the 2000s, and it didn't really deal with how the internet transformed our culture, which I thought was kind of a mistake.
I mean, I think they're going to bring back the MCP. I think they're bringing Dillinger back. We have Julian Dillinger played by Evan Peters, and he was in the trailer. And we see that's his grid that we see, I'm sure.
It's
and
not
we know that
Killian anymore? They recast him?
I don't know. We just know that he's a Dillinger, and I don't know what the time span is. They haven't said that, but so that's unclear of how much time has actually gone by. I don't think they could get Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, I like the Zacks in the chat. Jared Leto is a huge box office draw. Totally going to bring everyone in for this one.
Yeah.
Well, but ultimately, it's the writers and directors. I mean, it's like he's an actor and he's just doing his job. But he's actually been a huge proponent for getting this film made.
Yeah,
he's a huge fan.
He got
of
it
Tron.
made.
Yeah, so I can't. I mean, my one requirement is we need to see Tron return, and I think it could be so huge and epic of a moment for them to seem like they're losing, for Dillinger's grid just releasing utter chaos into the real world because even before the MCP was wreaking havoc and getting out of Edward Dillinger's control. He was getting into the Kremlin and the Pentagon. And
you said something about Garrett Hedlund. You told me earlier. Do you think possibly he's returning based on haircuts?
He's teased it. He did an interview with Collider a few months ago, and he said, "Who knows? Maybe it's not the last time we've seen of Sam and Cora."
Yeah.
Real quick, Alan has video from the presentation at CinemaCon. This is Jared Leto and Jeff Bridges. Alan, if you play it, crank the audio. Audio is. No audio. Okay.
Well, it's very faint.
It's very faint. Yeah.
Okay.
Are there captions?
No, this is Windows Media Player.
You can't hear it.
No, we can't hear it. He's asking what it's like to return to the grid, and Jeff is going to say,
"Do you have Real Player?"
Yeah, let me upload it.
It's nice to be paid.
I just hope this means we get Tron and Tron Legacy in 4K.
So my question is
in Legacy. So
my question is Bruce Boxleitner still alive? Is he still?
Yes, he's still alive, and I hope he returns because
he looks good.
As I was saying on Nerd Cookie's channel the other day in the chat, it's like we have a series called Tron, but the main character is not Tron.
Right. I'm sure, Rob, you have the Laserdisc Tron. That's
the big white box.
The big white still have it. Oh, here we go. Great, Alan. Yeah,
got it. Okay.
Thank you both so much for being here today to discuss Tron Ares with us. Jeff, let me start with you. What was it like returning to the grid that you made so iconic back in 1982?
Well, first of all, Andrew, it feels so great to be here with you guys and champion this movie to be in theaters. Woo! Love that. And Tron, to be back on the grid, come on. It was incredible. And getting to work with Jared, man, that was a real joy. We had a great time.
Right. And Jared, tell us a little bit about your character, Ares.
Well, first off, as a kid, I was obsessed with Tron. It was the 80s, the future felt like it was just around the corner, and Tron had everything that I wanted from a movie. It had action, adventure, spandex, lots of spandex. It took me to a world that I had never seen before, and I couldn't get enough. It also introduced me to one of my absolute favorite actors in the entire world, Mr. Jeff Bridges, right here. But to answer your question, Ares is a highly advanced program who crosses over from the digital world into the real one on a do-or-die mission to fulfill his directive. And I have to say, making this film was a blast.
I bet it was. And I know Tron fans are eagerly anticipating the new film, so tell us what they can expect.
Well, first of all, incredible visual experience. But the music, we've got 9 Inch Nails, man. So you're in for a treat.
And if you love this movie like I did, it'll hit you right in the grid. October, wherever that is. October 10th is a ways off. So here's a little something special.
All right, that was it. Flick on the
He was 11 when Tron came out.
I mean, that's old enough, man. I mean, I was pretty young when the original Tron came out, and I still remember it. So
the music is good, and it's a compelling story, and they tease Tron and Sam and Cora and the ISO thing. I'll be there for it.
And,
I mean,
sorry, go ahead. Sorry, Eli. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I'm glad that they recognize the importance of the music and the visuals, and so that gives me optimism. And it's nice that they went with Jeff Bridges. They're teasing his return, but I think that means they're gonna, because we've seen him before. I don't think that would be a huge thing, but I hope that they're saving Bruce Boxleitner's return for something truly special. Please give the fans what they want. We will give you our money, please.
Right.
Surprising in the last one.
After the last movie, that the music is kind of almost like its own character in the Tron.
Yeah, that's
so
good. The score for Tron.
The music is so important to Tron movies now.
Yeah.
Look, man, I'm gonna say what Gary said. Gary from Neurotic. He said, I'm cautiously optimistic. That's what I'm going to be. I'm going to be cautiously optimistic. Like I pray it's good. I want it to be good, but I'm going to hold all judgment until I see something.
Yeah, the recognizers look good. The light cycles look good. The jet walls, all of the digital grid fare that we love was in there.
The mechanics of how it would work in the real world look good, but
I want to see the giant solar sailor in the skies of LA.
That recognizer looks so cool going through the city streets.
I mean, it's Tron off grid, man. Like that's what it is.
The MCP with the stretched face. But what I loved when Tron was truly ahead of its time, not just with technology, but with ideas, because not everyone understood computers. I was fortunate. My father worked at a car company. He worked in the computer department. This was when computers were entire rooms with punch cards, which he would bring home for me to draw on and color on. But he understood all the terms, like what a byte was and what RAM was, and what he explained to me the terms that were used in the movie. So I understood them. My father loved Tron, but it was so ahead of its time. It was a bomb when it came out originally in the 80s. Now it's become a cult classic.
At the time, Disney couldn't get theaters. Their live action, they didn't have a live action, it was all re-releases of the Herbie movies, or Treasure from Matacumbe or Island at the Top of the World or something. And what was interesting at the time, they were trying to, and it was the summer of '82, which was the great summer for science fiction, fantasy, and horror.
Right.
And they just couldn't get the amount of theaters they needed to make it a hit. But, if you go back and you look at Tron, the original, no other movie ever made looks like Tron. The digital world, I mean, it's really, especially if you see it in a theater, they made 70 millimeter prints of it, and there's actually the 70 millimeter versions have a not a crawl, but a paragraph at the beginning explaining the digital world, and it's a striking movie to watch in the theater. They should re-release it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a theater since the 80s. I have the Laserdisc.
Yeah, they should remix it in Dolby Atmos and put it in theaters. I think people would. I mean, it's quaint now, but it certainly looks incredible.
By the way, Legacy in 3D was awesome because it was 2D until he jumped into the grid, and then the 3D popped in. It was soundtrack.
Yeah, technically, Legacy was Legacy was beautiful.
Yeah, so Clearly, they're just going to have that moment where Clue did have the command disc. That's where Ares goes through, and it's going to be a self-contained. And dear God, just give me Cora and Sam.
Yeah, I think we're getting. Well, this is my theory. I don't know, but there is this image floating around of Jeff Bridges. This was from footage shown at D23 that's not in this trailer, and there's an image of Jeff Bridges on a very different looking grid. It's like purplish white light. I posted it on Twitter. So if you want to see it there. So I think we're going to see multiple grids, and I think we'll see Sam's own digital space with that will foster the return of Kevin Flynn as this digital entity, and hopefully Tron. And maybe Clue. I don't know.
Let's get Sidney Morgan to come back.
Let's switch gears now to talk about Superman. Someone did a remix of the Superman footage that James Gunn shared online, a remix in the form of a Krypto trailer. I'm not going to show the whole thing, just the relevant parts at the end, but this will give you a taste, and we'll probably still get hit. So here we go. Let's watch a little bit of this.
Krypto, the movie, coming soon, based on James Gunn's dog Ozu. Who fucking cares?
Did you find it strange that Ozu was kind of a self-insert of James Gunn's dog? He tells this elaborate story about the dog, and then we see that one scene, and it's his dog. Then he did confirm there's I'm worried for this movie. I'm worried James Gunn is promoting the movie like his private social media. I have concerns about the film.
I would like to see more of the cast being promoted. Like, I want to see more David Cornsweet, and I want to see more Rachel Brosnahan, Nicholas Hoult. They're actually they're great actors. They should be a bit more front and center. I understand because there's so much riding on James Gunn for this that he's trying to take a little bit of a lead, probably to circumvent that. If it fails, he can then say, "Well, it's 100% my fault," and it's not going to fail. Be attacked for it. But I don't think it's going to fail at all because we're getting
Snow White wasn't going to fail.
Snow White was always going to fail.
Yeah, Snow White was going to make over 500 million, Rob. But
although
okay,
I thought it was going to make it. I did think it was going to make money.
We're going to be shown a Superman world that we've never seen in live action before. That is also very reminiscent of like the Silver Age with a little bit of Bronze Age and Modern Age in there. I think it might be a little off-putting at first, but the angle of Krypto. I mean, I grew up with 5 dogs. 2 of them behaved exactly like Krypto did in that scene, especially after I wiped out off the sled tobogganing up in Canada, and you're really, really hurt, and the dog just keeps jumping on you, and you need to go to the hospital.
It's just, what image for Superman did you want to project first? Hopeful and strong and powerful? Because I don't get that when I watch this. Or him constantly getting beat up by the dog, or the yummy whatever pose he's in. Bro, I just need strong Superman with the hopeful operatic music, and I have not gotten that at all. I
mean, we got tasted that when he's rescuing the kid from those pipes.
But you show it after. I don't know, man.
Well, the other part too is
what they released.
Do you want a Mary Sue Superman, or do you want something that has a little bit of stakes to it?
Why does everyone say that? It's the same thing with Luke Skywalker. Just because I want a vulnerable character doesn't mean I need to see him drinking green titty milk, or I need to see him get beat up by his fucking dog because James has said that a dog with superpowers would be a nightmare. There's other ways to depict
be
it.
fair,
And Robert, I've read All-Star Superman. It's not a lack of knowledge. It's how he's choosing to show and depict it first.
Well, I don't mind the Krypto, but dogs do that actually. Dogs will hurt you accidentally.
Kryptonian dogs are smarter than human dogs.
It's a cute dog thing. I'm okay with that. It's fine. I'm told they're doing reshoots. That there are reshoots. I heard this.
But you know what?
Already now?
That's normal though.
Yeah.
Every movie does reshoots.
Yeah. Pickup shots
in the game.
Well, they did pickup shots a months ago.
Yeah, they only did a day and a half.
Yeah.
Like I'll be concerned if they're on their 4th or 5th reshoot. If this is like their first reshoot, okay. I mean, movies do that.
But I'll say this on the positive end, James Gunn has a very good track record.
Yep.
Right.
At the-
Very
at the
good track
moment,
record. So even his indie movies before Guardians, his small indie movies were really amazing. And
Oh, hell
creative.
yeah.
Dude.
Well, also,
And-
Chris, at CinemaCon, they showed the thing they showed from Superman was twice as long as what they released with that
They didn't
Krypto
show-
scene. And there was the scene with the Superman robots talking about Krypto was hilarious.
Yes.
Like, we don't
was
care
good.
about this creature. Like they're like they're you know what they didn't show that was at CinemaCon is that Krypto has completely trashed the Fortress of Solitude. Just destroyed it. And the Superman robots want to get rid of him. They're like, we don't want this thing here. We don't need it. It's just a pain in the ass. And they make one of them says something that's really like dismissive, like, we can get rid of this for you if you want. We have no connection to this. And it was really, I mean, it made it a lot more fun. And it was and then Superman puts Krypto in his place and flies off. And it was really, and then they showed more clips of like Superman sitting down for an interview with Lois Lane, and there was a lot more really interesting stuff happening in that trailer, but they haven't shown that. They haven't released it publicly.
I just find it odd that this was the scene they decided to show theater owners.
That part.
That you would think that they want to get theater owners excited about Superman, so they put up all the merch, they do all the promotional stuff, and this is the scene you give them. What I wanted was just something to show me that Superman is Superman, that this guy is Superman and is doing Superman things. And I'm confounded by why this was the clip they chose.
And the Sungate thing, the problem is, if you think he was screaming because it hurts to regrow your bones, we've seen him regrow his bones and not scream. If you think he was screaming because he was charging up like Goku, we've seen Superman recharge and not scream like that. We've seen this done before in every other medium, and he's never screamed like that. Now, does that mean he can't? No, it's just, again, why would you choose to show that first?
I'm told basically that is the first scene of the movie.
Yeah.
That's how the movie begins. And it does concern me because it was confirmed that James Gunn has a 10 pages of dialogue scene between Lois and Clark. He's Superman, but he's doing an interview as Superman, dressed as Clark. Lois already is aware his identity, he knows who he is. So that scene is 10 minutes in the middle of the movie with them having a conversation philosophically about Superman and what he means. And I mean, I usually go to the bathroom at least once in a movie. Now I know when to go, but I think that scene gets cut down dramatically.
Yeah, the Donner film was like 5 minutes of a flirtatious interview between Lois and Superman before they went to the flying moment. So yeah,
To Script's point, I want him to be hurt. I don't want him to be OP. I'm glad that we're starting with a hurtable one, especially if he was fighting a Kryptonian or something. That's acceptable. But people are asking what's wrong with him screaming? It's not that he screamed; it's how he screamed.
Yeah, like the marketing has been bad. I'll be the first to say that. But I also say this, all of this hand wringing over Superman. It's like, do you trust James Gunn or not? That's really what it comes down to. Do you think James Gunn knows his superheroes? Does he know the tone that we need to get for Superman? Do you think James Gunn understands that? Or do you think it's going to be a bunch of Guardians of the Galaxy and Suicide and Peacemaker, and that's the only thing James Gunn knows? I think James Gunn knows his superhero genre, and I think it's going to be fine. I am nervous just from the marketing that people may be turned off before they get to the movie because they're like, I don't know about this. So I am nervous about that, but I think the movie's going to be good. It might need to be great, however, in order to save DC. If this thing fails, it's over. It's over for DC before it even gets started because Creature Commandos really didn't capture us like, maybe they wanted it to. I don't know. I wasn't really blown away by Creature Commandos. That was the first thing that he did. And if he follows it up with a good Superman movie, then that,
he's got
we
Supergirl.
really want it to be great. Yeah, and then Supergirl. It's like, so to me, I'm not worried about the movie being a good movie. but I feel like it needs to elevate. It needs to go above being good. I think it needs to be great. And I think it needs to really like sell the DCU immediately and get everybody invested. And it's like, oh, okay, well, what else is coming out next for DC? You know, Supergirl? I wonder what that's going to be. Oh, we got Clayface. How's that going to fit in? You know, and all the different things that are going to be coming down the line. Yeah. People should start getting excited about that after walking out of Superman. If they're just saying, it was a good movie, then I think this thing is already over.
I agree that the marketing has been really bad, like very bad for this movie. But look, I'm still going to say that I trust James Gunn. I just do, because say what you want to about the guy, man. He took a book that should not have worked at all, right? He took the Guardians of the Galaxy, which was a very niche comic book. Like even in the 80s, I think I was one of the few people who read that on a regular basis, and it was a totally different team back then, right? I talked about this on Georgia's show yesterday. He made that book work and made it $1 billion franchise, right? So he could work with big numbers and he could work with small numbers. I love Slither. I love Super. He is he is a great director. I'm cautiously optimistic, right? But at the same time, it's more on the side of optimistic because he's one of the few directors that I'm like, look, at the end of the day, like you said, D, at the end of the day, he knows the characters, right? Yeah. He at least knows the characters. He
not just empathy and emotion. Sorry to interrupt, but he also knows empathy and emotion because all those Guardians films really hit you in the heartstrings.
Made you care for a raccoon.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm going.
Look, post Suicide Squad, he turned Peacemaker from a character we absolutely hated in the Suicide Squad into a character we absolutely love in Peacemaker. Yeah. Like he did that flip around. This guy knows how to write. And so I'm not worried about the movie. I'm really not worried about the movie. I'm just worried about how the audience is going to take his version of Superman and if they're going to show up to the theaters.
I'm waiting for this, by the way, Chris.
Yeah, I'm hopeful for the movie. I want it to be good. I 100% agree with the rest of you who say that the marketing hasn't been very good because it hasn't. It really hasn't. I think that we've gotten years and years and years of a scowling Superman, and now we're seeing kind of the same thing in these. In what they are introducing us to with James Gunn's Superman. I want to see something hopeful. I want to see a beacon of hope in Superman. So far, we haven't seen that yet. I understand why they're marketing it so much with James Gunn because they are relying on him for the future of DC from now on. So I can understand why they're really centering this around James Gunn. But I do agree that they need to really focus on this is our Superman. This is David Corenswet. He is our Superman. Introduce us to those actors who really aren't very well known. I mean, I've only seen David Corenswet in one other thing. So unless like they're centering it around James Gunn because he's the most well known out of pretty much maybe the whole cast, then I can see why they're doing that. But I would like more focus on the actors as well. And really just I need a banger trailer. I need a really good trailer because so far like the trailers have been fine, but they're not like incredibly motivating. Like I want to go see this new Superman movie, and I really want
look up.
To do well.
Look up, but we keep showing him on the ground beating up. It's like, bro, but show him in the air, show him winning and fighting kaiju and Ultraman, and like it'll make $1 billion. But you're not showing that. Well, I can't stand for a movie.
Be huge. That next trailer is going to be huge.
Hey guys, it's like we're going to see the movie in spite of the marketing.
Derek has to leave us.
Derek, thank you so much, man. Subscribe to Derek Anderson, the DA, and thank you for being on. We really appreciate it.
Appreciate it, guys. Have a good day.
Take care. See you, Derek.
I think the thing about Superman that this movie is going to be all there's always been an effort to set the modern superhero film in quote unquote our world. You know, if you look at even Superman the movie is basically set Metropolis is New York City. He runs into Rex Reed, for instance. This is the first time that I think we're getting a modern superhero film that takes place in a fantasy version of our Earth with all of this super science, and there's aliens running all over the planet. Everybody knows that there's many superheroes that exist. So I think the tone of this
is what he's doing.
The tone of this movie is going to be very, very, very different than anything we've seen before. Even in in Smallville, in the Arrowverse things, and I think there's going to be much more of a played up fantasy element. So I think that's going to just be something new and different that we haven't seen, and we don't know what it is yet. And I think until we see more of it, it's going to be kind of hard to wrap our heads around the kind of tone that this movie's going to have. That's why I'm cautiously optimistic, and I think we should wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it really is going to be important to see if normies are into this, because they are being bombarded by superhero stuff.
Yeah.
And I think part of the reason Marvel has been declining is normies are like, these movies feel like homework. In particular, Captain America felt like homework, with so many things you had to know or be clued in on. If this Superman is able, if he is able to translate this world like he did the first Guardians movie, you know, I have faith in James Gunn, but it's not, it's a very, I mean, in the same way that Zack Snyder's Man of Steel was such a departure from what we thought Superman was, this will be similar. So we shall see. One other thing, switching gears, Thunderbolts, there's a new trailer and tickets are on sale today. And I checked my theater, AMC Burbank 16, which is I believe it's the most profitable AMC theater in America, if not first or second. But that theater it was packed this past weekend for Minecraft. I went to see Hell of a Summer, and in the afternoon, theater packed lines. But Thunderbolt tickets seem pretty easy to get. Here's a new 1-minute teaser where we really see a lot more about what the story is. So let's check this out real quick. Here we go.
Being the hero, there is no higher calling. Serving people in the street, adored like gods.
Dad, that's just a fairy tale. No one here is a hero.
I am a void. There's no use fighting.
He's invincible, all-powerful, stronger than all of the Avengers rolled into one.
You don't know what I'm capable of. Maybe I need to show you.
Avengers, you're gone. No one's coming to save the day.
I think we are.
Us?
We could be the people that are coming.
Let's do this.
We are the Thunderbolts!
Marvel Studios Thunderbolts. Only theaters May 2nd. Filmed for IMAX. Get tickets now.
Well, are you excited now? What do you think?
The only thing I don't want to say excited. The only thing I'm curious about is how they're going to really do the Sentry. Like I'm going to see the Sentry. I'm not going to see the Thunderbolts.
You just saw how they're going to do it. He's going to be a shadow monster that blips people out, and
Is that
everyone
all
will be
he does?
alive. Because
Well, in the
Wednesday
comics,
is filming.
it's a little more complicated. I mean, that is part of who he is, but
that's the void aspect.
That's the
of
void.
it.
He has a
That's
split
the void.
personality, basically.
Yeah.
What's that? Isn't there someone who is actually all the Avengers and Guardians and every powerful character rolled into one? Gaia?
The Super
Is she
Skrull from
around?
Secret
Oh,
Invasion.
we'll never hear from her again.
Yeah.
Well,
She. Who's
Amelia
Clark. The problem is they already announced all the people in
She's
Doomsday.
all the Avengers and all them rolled into one. So there you go.
All 5.
Solved.
And they're all going to be fighting against Robert Downey Jr. in the next movie.
Here's the thing. I was more excited with the A24 trailer of Thunderbolts.
Yeah, the A24 version was great. But I wonder, I saw tickets. I usually buy them for Marvel movies. This one seems like they're readily available. And by the way, Alan and I both received while we we're at CinemaCon. I assume you got one too, Rob, the Thunderbolts cereal box.
I did.
With the Wheaties box. That
I love it.
Yeah, turn it around.
Popcorn.
You have a toy?
Turn it
Oh,
around.
yes, there is a maze on the back. Something to do while you play with your whatever. Okay.
With your
All right.
Thunderbolt.
Where were the others? There was a couple missing, wasn't there? Taskmaster.
Yeah, what happened to Taskmaster?
We're
And
assuming
Ghost?
that she gets killed in the beginning.
Yeah.
Why would you assume that? She's announced to be returning for Doomsday.
Oh, really?
Anything can happen in Doomsday,
Ghost,
right?
yeah.
Professor
Well,
X
yeah.
is
Who's
dead
not
now.
returning? That's
They're all
be a shorter
multiverse
list.
variants, I'm sure.
Precisely.
The only thing that's the thing that's like goofy to me is the fact that we just heard her say he's more powerful than all the Avengers together, and so they send the Thunderbolts to take care of him. Like that makes no sense.
Where's everyone else?
Well, sounds like a good plot for a comic story, right?
You don't
Like,
send Doctor
actually-
Strange. You don't like try to find someone who's still somewhat powerful.
Right.
There's
I just
two Hulks now, or three Hulks now, or no?
Yeah.
The point of this, I guess I'm frozen on screen. I'll say this and come
Oh,
back.
good freeze.
It's a bad. That's
You're
very-
adjusting as well.
Film Threat T-shirts available now. He's falling.
Okay. What I was gonna say, the point of this movie was to prove that Marvel could make a low budget movie, not 300 or 200 million. This was the budget is relatively low for Marvel to prove they could do something. So,
well, good luck.
There you go. Oh, I'm back. Well, there you go.
Good luck.
I don't know. Did you guys buy tickets?
No,
not yet.
No.
They're on sale, FYI. That's what the trailer told us.
It's open May 2nd.
May 2nd. So May 1st, Thursday.
I have a feeling I could buy at the door if I really wanted to see it.
I was gonna say you could walk up. You could walk up, but will this prove what Marvel's trying to prove? We can make something low budget. This is their version of low budget. So I don't know what the budget is. Alan, maybe you can find out.
Yeah, but then they go with the Sentry as the villain. Like that's
I'm just saying. So it, did we see that? We're looking at footage probably from the third act. So, and we saw one scene at CinemaCon that did not impress me. I'm sure you saw it too, Rob.
Yeah.
It's
Their
just
budget is 200 million.
I mean, the premise of just why are you only getting the Thunderbolts? Y'all even said that you're not qualified, that it's too powerful. Like there are other heroes around, and I feel like that's always going to be a thing that you have to explain why everyone else that are filling out all of those chairs for Doomsday are not here.
That's why they did it, because they have to set them up as a team. Because as Kevin Feige said, it's the Thunderbolts and the Fox X-Men and Fantastic Four and Wakandans against Robert Downey Jr. So they literally have to have this movie to set them up as a team, so they can have them as a team in the next movie.
This is
By
getting
the
way
way,
too confusing.
Newsweek
for
reports that
audiences.
the production budget is 180 million.
Oh,
Seems kind of high for low budget.
Yeah,
Well, for a
it's
Marvel
100.
movie, it's pretty low.
Yeah, actually, true. I mean, the budget of Doomsday, that is going to be insane.
Yeah.
Probably half a billion.
Probably.
Yeah.
And they've started shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there was a message from Kevin Feige. The Fantastic Four footage we saw there is not online, but I have to say I was underwhelmed.
Yeah.
I was underwhelmed too.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Underwhelmed. I mean, I don't think Pedro makes a good Mr. Fantastic.
But Robert was
came off as
underwhelmed?
Pedro came off as mopey.
I was underwhelmed.
I was underwhelmed, and even female Silver Surfer looks like, you know, when you go to like some art fair or something in the park and they have those like human statues painted silver? That's what she looked like.
You know,
Like,
too,
yeah.
what's weird is, this is going to seem strange to say, but they threw these very incongruous images at us, and we haven't had time yet. Again, Fantastic Four takes place in a different world than the MCU, where this retro future world exists, and we're not acclimated to it yet, and we're supposed to, I guess, through the trailers, accept it. But I was looking at all this going, I don't buy into any of this. They haven't made me buy into this world yet. And I'm hoping the movie will do that. But like you said, Chris, I don't like the character interaction between any of these characters. I don't believe them.
Yeah.
Which I think is, I mean, that might not be the case when you see the movie.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, we saw basically a montage of stuff. And
Yeah.
so it
All
was
we
all
saw was
disconnected anyways.
All we saw was a montage and confirmed Franklin Richards is coming, so to speak. Sue is pregnant. Johnny will be an uncle. So they're excited. She's pregnant. Will she be pregnant still in Doomsday? Does Franklin Richards in Doomsday play some part? because is the movie going to last long enough for Sue to have a baby? Or will she have a baby in the...
Well, it takes place in the 60s for crying out.
Is that how we're
No, but what I'm
resetting
saying
everything?
is, okay, worlds will collide, multiple universes will collide in Doomsday, one would assume. Will Franklin come forth in that movie? I don't know. Like, I don't know the span of time for Fantastic Four First Steps.
That's a mess if they're already doing Franklin and his godlike powers, but that could also be, like I said, how they would explain a soft reboot.
Well, I'm just saying I don't know, but the montage I saw, still not convinced. We have still not seen Reed Richards' power. And I want some kind of sound effect that sounds like rubber stretching. What does that sound like? Like in the old cartoons, you'd hear a some weird sound effect that would, he's elongating. Make of that what you will, but we've not seen that effect. How do you make that not look goofy and strange and uncanny valley? How do you make it look organic? In the Jack Kirby drawn comics, Reed looks so cool. I mean, I want to hear how well Pedro can say spelled UNHHHHHHH. Every time in the comic he'd get hit with something and say, This is very comic book stuff. I know Dante knows what I'm talking about. Rob,
well, absolutely, I do. But
well, yeah.
Look, man, I gave
comics.
I'm not saying I gave up on this movie. I just it has a hill to climb. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
And that hill is Pedro Pascal.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I can't get over him as Mr. Fantastic. I'm trying. Like I
don't believe he's smart.
I try so hard to look past him, and I can't. He's right there, man, because he's playing one of the most iconic Marvel characters of all time. Like literally, there's Spider-Man, Wolverine, Iron Man, and then there's Mr. Fantastic, right? Like he is up there and in the top 5 of Marvel characters ever made.
And this is coming after we had the fan casting made real in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
To troll us, yeah.
And they completely just killed him. Killed him like spaghetti. Turned him into spaghetti, killed him. He's not coming back. And also because we've seen it's almost like it's an oversaturation of Pedro Pascal. People are just getting so tired of that actor and seeing him in everything. But in this role specifically, I don't see him as Reed Richards. He doesn't come across as a Reed Richards type character. I honestly think that they're going to use his arms like whips, whoosh.
And I think the thing that constantly reminds me of this fact is that I've been playing Marvel Rivals for the past month just religiously, and Mr. Fantastic has been one of the guys I play the most, and the way they portray him in the game is Mr. Fantastic. He is Reed Richards all the way through, and every time I see that and then think of Pedro Pascal, I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
The thing I noticed about Pedro
You're not
Pascal,
getting Reed Richards, man.
The thing I noticed about Pedro Pascal was zero energy and zero charisma as Reed Richards.
Sounds about right.
Bingo. He just and he's in a movie that Dante and I saw recently,
Which he was good in. He was good in that one.
Well, he's not the lead. By the way, Disney is part of this sneak peek showcase that's in theaters. So it's just at themovies.co. It's put on by the Cinema Foundation, which does CinemaCon. So get tickets. You can see what we all saw at CinemaCon in a few weeks. You can see, and hopefully they have some of the interviews and whatnot.
I hope they put the Project Hail Mary reel in there.
I hope they do. It's but I have concerns. I have concerns that the Superman, it wasn't the footage was fine for Superman. What concerned me was the 30 minutes of James Gunn praising and the talking that it was the most underwhelming speech there. All the other studios come out, say a few words, footage. They spoke the longest of anybody and said nothing, and it would undersold or did not do him any favors. I don't know what you thought of it, Rob.
Well, the questions so for people who don't know, at CinemaCon they bring out these huge stars. I mean, Leonardo DiCaprio was there, Tom Cruise comes out, and they're only on stage for a couple of minutes, and they're asked the most insipid questions you can possibly imagine. And then they're given banter to say that Chat GPT probably wrote for them.
Yeah, true.
And it's very corporate. And if they're going to take the time to bring these people out, you'd think look, as somebody who's been interviewing, people that work in movies for 25 years now, the one thing you want to get from them is you don't want to say, tell me about your character, because the audience knows more about the characters than the actors do. You want to get a sense of who the actors are as people. You want to get behind that curtain and get a sense of them. And I thought the funniest was Ben Affleck and John Barenthal for The Accountant 2 going after each other, and they were making fun of what they had to read. It was hilarious.
That actually was good.
Yeah, they went off script.
They went off script, and it was so funny. And that's what we wanted to get more of. But I just didn't. I don't even remember what the question was. But what do you know about it?
Well,
the question of the Superman James Gunn thing was so. It was just this long, insipid bunch of responses to these questions that weren't good questions.
If you could be a hero that you're not in the movie, what would that hero be?
Yeah, I mean,
it was so bad.
It was such a terrible.
Did it come across as as desperate? Like, we need to prove something. We have something to prove here.
That's the sense I got. I think James Gunn is too connected to the internet, and he cares about what people are saying about him online, and he feels this constant need to prove them wrong or say, "Hey, you're wait till you see the movie." That's the sense I got from that whole James Gunn thing. Is he's just a little too sensitive when it comes to the internet.
And I think the reason they leaned into showing more crypto stuff, because we saw there's 2 crypto scenes.
Yeah.
And I think it's because they showed what appealed to the masses. I mean, the studio crowd is not people that are a bunch of Superman fans or MCU fans. They're showing you what is the one thing that middle America that everybody can relate to? A dog. So I think that's why they leaned into showing that footage. Oh, look, Krypto made a mess of the Fortress of Solitude. It's like, I would much rather have seen Superman confronting Lex Luthor, or however that's going to work. But they were showing specifically for CinemaCon something that was most palatable for the masses. I mean, for that particular crowd of people.
Yeah, but these are theater owners.
Yeah.
Well, these aren't the masses.
Where was the
well, that's what I mean. But they had to show footage that was most like everybody loves dogs, so the audiences will flock here. Which I thought was a mistake, especially with this movie, because the Superman has to convince a lot of people coming off of the last 5 DC movies. It has to do a lot.
We've got one more topic before we go to
Chris, you skipped the Star Wars announcements altogether.
Here's the thing.
That was the weirdest thing ever.
There were no Star Wars announcements, not a date on a calendar, not a title announcement, not a teaser, even though there has been probably almost a year ago. There was footage shown from Mandalorian and Grogu. Nothing.
2026, right?
Yes. It was. That was very suspicious.
Are they doing at Star Wars Celebration? Just saving it for that?
Why?
But these are theater owners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's Star Wars. Brand recognition.
It's not such a given anymore.
Final
But
topic
Robert?
for today.
No, that's probably true that they're going to show something at Star Wars Celebration, but they didn't even say the words Star Wars, but they did show a Lucasfilm a graphic with all the different divisions of Disney. That was it.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
From Variety, why the theatrical window debate at CinemaCon feels hopeless. We saw, and I saw you mention it, Rob, the studios giving theater owners advice like, hey, you should have matinee showings up until 6 p.m. Not just discount Tuesday, but how about discount weekdays? They went on and on offering, and I believe that theater owners are doing their best. It was probably 20 years ago. I said, you have to serve alcohol at movie theaters. That will, call it the Brewvies, BREWVIES. And that has happened. Every theater now serves alcohol. You've now got themed cocktails for every big release. You've got popcorn buckets, and even if you go to certain like AMC theaters, there's as you're waiting in line, it's kind of like going to TJ Maxx. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. They have tons of stuff. You're looking at action figures and Funko Pops, and Captain America decorative pillows. Like there's tons of merch. Theater owners are doing everything they can to milk extra money out of the customers they pack in. But you know what will pack people in? Good movies and targeting and satisfying your audiences. And you know what? The thing that's killed it the most? The theatrical window. I mean, I think 45 days, it should be 90 days.
Yep.
Make theatrical special. I'm not sure if you've got a synopsis of the article, Alan, to read, but somewhere. But basically, is the 45-day window enough? Should it go to 90 days? And not every studio has agreed to 45-day window. What do we think of this?
I think Sony's the only one that's really pushing 45 days as a minimum right now because they don't
actually.
care about
Disney is committed to 90 days. Or I'm sorry. Am I saying that right?
Disney's committed to 90 days? Really?
Yeah.
Are you sure about that, Alan?
Yeah, because they made a big point to mention it.
Wow.
I mean, I'm surprised that those theater owners didn't have pitchforks out, pissed off. The studios have delivered such subpar project over the last few years. I mean, if not that, 4 years they've done it. Thoughts on the theatrical window?
I mean, yeah, I think at this point, man, it's either that or just be content with the fact that you're killing the theaters. They got to extend it. I think 45 days is too short. I think it needs to be at least 60.
Yeah, I think I remember when I went to go see A Quiet Place Day 1, I think it was opening weekend, and the day that I went to go see it, they had announced that it was going to be on streaming in a couple weeks, and the opening weekend was doing really well at the box office. It surpassed all of its previous entries. So it was kind of like, what are you doing?
Badger, there's a link in the private chat and a synopsis of this article. If you would read the salient points.
Because here's the thing, also
the data.
It doesn't mean anything if ticket prices are going to stay $20 a pop, man. Like it's 45 days is still too short. I think people will still wait those 45 days for it to come on stream and not have to drop like $100 at the movie theater.
Yeah, I agree. Because I think a 90-day minimum would be good. And then after the theatrical run, you have a minimum of 45 days before it gets distributed on physical or streaming, because you have to extend that period so that people will feel the FOMO of going to the theater for that film.
By the way, real quick here. I literally 0 minutes ago, I got an email from Angel Studios. They're announcing for their film, The King of Kings, it's 7.8 million in pre-sales. And they're rolling out a special Kids Go Free deal. Now, imagine this. If for the price of an adult ticket, you get to bring kids for free. Imagine how you would pack theaters with families. For each adult ticket sale, you get a free kids ticket. That kid's not sitting there not drinking soda or popcorn. So theaters would make money. Just a thought. That just was announced just now.
It's like half-price tickets for families.
Yeah.
Because they're not lowering ticket prices. They can extend windows for matinees, but Kids Go Free. Theaters would be mobbed. Badger, would you go to those?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, go
sure.
for it.
Why the theatrical window debate at CinemaCon feels hopeless. CinemaCon debate. Theater owners pushed for standardized 45-day theatrical windows. Studios remain inconsistent, with some films hitting digital just weeks after release, which, of course, we got the box office decline here. Q1 2025, domestic box office revenue dropped 12.3% year over year, worse than the previous year. And then this, obviously, they've had a host of underperforming films. Captain America, it's cute that they call this a modest performance. Dogman did well, but didn't match Kung Fu Panda 4's previous success. Snow White, a likely flop, earning under $100 million domestically and on a $200 million plus budget. Mickey 17 underperformed and went digital just 1 month post-release. And then lastly here, studios, especially Universal argue early paid VOD helps recoup losses. Wicked made $100 million on paid video on demand in addition to the $475 million in theaters.
But the point is, theaters want longer exclusivity, and but it's not in the studio's best interest. What the theaters want is not necessarily what the studios want in terms of I mean, they make so much on the paid VOD.
Well, another problem is that you can leave a movie in a theater for 45 days, but if no one's going to the theater to see it, it's not making any money. And one of the big problems, I think, is that studios don't know how to market their own product anymore. And if you look at a movie like Companion, which came out at the end of January, it had barely any marketing at all. And that film, when I went and saw it opening night, because I was really excited to see it, the audience, me and the 5 other people that were in the theater, we loved it. And I think that movie could have made a lot more money, but they just wrote it off because they thought, oh, it's only a $10 million movie, so why should we spend the marketing dollars? And I'm like, if you'd spent the marketing dollars, your little $10 million movie might have grossed $50 million if you had the right ad campaign. They're not using TikTok. They're not using social media the way they can be because they're stuck in this old way of trying to market films. And theaters then get stuck having to have these movies in their theaters where no one is going because they make the theaters agree to play a movie for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whether it's earning money or not. And it hurts theaters if the studios are not going to back up their movies with decent marketing. People don't know they're playing. People don't know those movies are there.
Yeah. By the way, the paid VOD, who is that? Isn't that Apple and Amazon?
No, it's the they get part of that.
Right, I understand that, but that's where people don't. Isn't that where most people go to see to purchase the paid?
Amazon, Apple.
Yeah.
I use Fandango, which used to be Vudu. I mean, there are many different places to buy video on demand movies.
Yeah, I just find it interesting that Apple and Amazon are the ones.
There was one last part, the future outlook, where it says studios are betting on riskier, diverse content, but without quick digital access, financial losses could become more visible and in other words, you could do it, but you actually have to have the quality to back up justifying not just immediately releasing it to streaming. It has to be able to stay in the theater and hold itself.
One last treat before we go to soups. Joe Rogan says that Disney needs to get DOGE'd. DOGE, of course, the Department of Government Efficiency. You might have strong opinions about that, but I like finding out about waste, fraud, and abuse. Maybe Disney needs some of that. Here's what Joe Rogan had to say. It's a quick clip.
Shout out to Kurt.
Here we go.
You spend $250 million and you get some young girl and you don't kind of talk to her about like, hey, don't get political. You're young. And I know you have opinions about things, but this should be just about the movie.
Well, it's just to defend Big Head Girl, let me tell you something. The message of the movie is to be that bitch. That's the message that they wrote a script that's telling girls, I don't need nobody tells me I'm a 20-year-old girl, so obviously I should run my mouth all the time. That's the theme of the new Snow White.
No, really?
Yes.
Now it's not the same story.
No. So now they've put it all on her. Now they've failed. Here's what happened. She made the cardinal error of saying free Palestine on Twitter. So she could say all that men are bad and it's this and that. But once you do that, now they've put the entire weight of the failure upon her. When really, it's like making Jimmy Fallon apologize for doing a Chris Rock impression when Lauren and a team of lawyers and consultants decided if it was okay, the amount of brown they put on him to simulate Chris Rock.
Right.
You think Jimmy Fallon made that call? But he's got to sit there and apologize to a white Robin DiAngelo comes on. I'm not watching this. Am I dreaming? And he's like, he's clearly drunk and I don't blame him. And he's like, thanks so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. Just, you see Jimmy, this weird nun lady is like giving him a lecture.
Did you ever see her in that Matt Walsh movie?
All right, that's it. But look, I'm going to show, while we discuss this topic, I'm going to share something for Alan. because Alan's my friend. But what do you
Yeah.
think about Joe Rogan saying Disney needs Doge?
They do.
Here's the Snow White we might have gotten. I'm not playing the audio for this.
James
but-
O'Keefe showed us that like Disney had a bunch of shit that they didn't know they had, and they brought in all this inclusive people, and they pandered, and then those people sort of took over and doing their own things. Yeah, they're.
We could have got this Snow White.
Yeah, why didn't we get this?
Oh.
I'm liking Snow White in this.
Yeah.
Not bad.
This feels like canon and lore.
Oh, the Evil Queen.
Yeah, there's real magic here.
I know.
It's double the
Easy
magic.
magic.
I'm feeling
Yep.
the Disney magic.
So inspired.
Look, but it's funny when
Oh, this is good.
$1 billion film right there.
oh man, snow globes, says Ryan Landis. But it's funny when these topics, I always think it's funny when topics that we discuss often leak out into places that are not the usual places. So, but what I mean, is that part of why Snow White failed? Is that it really went mainstream, right? Enough mainstream, like people that don't normally
TikTok,
discuss nerd
yes.
and movie topics.
It definitely went mainstream. You have political YouTubers talking about this, right?
Yeah.
They're bringing on guests to talk about the failure that is Snow White, to explain to them what has been happening with this movie. Pierce Morgan talking about the
Bro.
Snow White, Fox News, all these news networks talking about Rachel Zegler and Snow White. Not even like the liberal app of TikTok is behind Snow White or is behind Rachel Zegler. The only people that back Rachel Zegler are like her fans, and then the people who are getting into that geopolitical stuff that's happening right now. Like that's pretty much it. Everybody else can see the damage that Disney has done to its brand and the crappy live action movies that they've been putting out, and and the fact that they hired a woke, outspoken, bratty actress to play the role of Snow White. Everybody could see that. So yeah, it completely blew up and went mainstream. It went everywhere. It had so many people talking.
Ew, it went everywhere. It did, though.
Yeah, it did.
It did. It went everywhere.
Sorry, Steph, I had no idea what you said. Can you play that video?
Yeah, I want
to.
Wait, in the time that you guys said that, someone else made something new. Let's take a look at this.
Do you want to turn the sound off, too?
No, I need sound for this one.
All right, people, listen the hell up. They call me Snow White, but don't ask me why.
Oh my God.
It sure ain't how I describe this scenario. And yeah, I know what you're thinking. This dress is way too frilly. But I didn't ask for any of this. 1 minute I'm polishing floors and dodging my stepmother's side eye, and the next I'm on run. How do you expect me to run in these high-heeled slippers?
Oh my God.
So there's this evil queen with a vanity problem, and she wants my heart on a plate. They say she the fairest of them all, but let me tell you something.
All right, should we
She's
keep
also
playing or
the
turn it off?
scariest of
Turn it
them
off,
all.
man. I'm having like
all right.
Need more cleavage in there.
Let's not desecrate Sam Jackson. That's awful. But yeah, the budgets. I don't see, like, how does Denis Villeneuve make something so on the scale of Dune and Dune Part 2 with the cast he made it with effects that look so real, with production design so amazing, like, and make it for half of Snow White? How does Denis do it?
Because
How
somebody's
do
pocketing
other
money at
studios-
Disney. That's why.
How do other studios make these things better and less expensive?
Well, you know the answer to that. You plan it in prep. You fix it in prep.
Well,
And also, you go to a real location. Every shot in Snow White's an effect shot.
Yeah, well, even someone, we talked to a VFX guy, and I even I saw Denis Villeneuve at several during award season Q&As. They shot on like outdoors.
Yeah,
they shot outdoors. Now, while they did have sets, they shot outdoors for a lot, and it was the light made it really goes. You cannot replicate sunlight on a stage. You can't do it. It doesn't look right. So he shot outdoors as much as possible. He shot outdoors during an eclipse, and he got it in the film.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why that movie looks so good.
Look, I even thought that Snow White would succeed. I thought it was like Mufasa succeeded.
Yeah.
But watching what happened, like we were talking about earlier, the mainstream press got a hold of it. I mean, that movie was savaged from quarters. I had no idea we're paying attention to movies at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what really, Chris, we didn't really talk about this, but the one thing at CinemaCon that I thought was great was I felt excited about movies that were coming out almost across the board, especially with what Amazon's doing.
Yeah.
A lot of literary adaptations. One of my favorite authors, Don Winslow, is getting another adaptation. Crime 101 is from his book Broken. And there's a lot of really great stuff. It felt to me like Amazon was paramount in like 1989, making a lot of adult themed movies with adults about adult topics. They had the one movie that they're doing that I thought was crazy is the goat movie.
I heard you describe it.
So
goats solving a murder.
So yeah, so they show this. There's a movie coming out, and I forget the name of it, that stars Hugh Jackman, and it Emma Thompson's. It's got an incredible cast, and it's based on a book. But what they didn't show us I had to look this up and figure this out. So the book that it's based on are these anthropomorphized, like Babe, think Babe, sheep that have to solve the murder of their shepherd that Hugh Jackman plays. And the movie's written by Craig Mazin, who created Chernobyl and co-created The Last of Us with Neil Druckmann. And he adapted this book. And that was one of the things that they're making. And I'm like, you go. But you couldn't tell that the goats talked from what they showed us. I don't know if they're hiding that or not, but I wanted to see it.
Let's go to soups as we wrap up today. It's been we've talked about a lot of stuff here, and if anyone needs to leave here, let me know. But we missed this one at the top. Sorry, Dark Hierophant.
Sorry about that, Dark Hierophant. Yeah, remember for 14 months, Pedro Pascal as Skibbity Toilet.
That could work. I could see him as one of the guys whose elongated neck comes out of a toilet. He has experience in elongating his neck, I assume.
Tony Stark's for 10 films are shifting back to what made going to the movies an event. And with the new Naked Gun coming out, I think will shatter the stupidity of woke movies. Dios los bendiga familia.
Oh,
okay.
That extended Naked Gun. You guys saw the tease.
Yeah.
What they showed us, I have never laughed that hard at a trailer in years I can't remember.
Funny.
Alan and I could not stop laughing.
It was really good.
It was so good.
That tease that made me laugh. I was very pleasantly surprised. Liam Neeson was the perfect choice. I rolled my eyes, of course, at another reboot, but it's a sequel, isn't it? It's his son.
Kind of a reboot.
Honors the legacy, including OJ
and the jokes.
OJ's in the.
Can you imagine? OJ is the only one still left alive from the cast.
Oh my God! I cannot wait for that.
No, OJ's dead, right?
Yeah, OJ's dead. Lord Comment for 2. The alien will be played by Zegler. I know he feels like he's still with us, Alan. Just close to our hearts. K Manifesto for 5. I agree with Rob and Nerd Cookies. Project Hail Mary is a great story. Best Picture, gotta wait to see. The Odyssey first. Maybe an Oscar tie.
Well, it could be Hail Odyssey.
Yeah, I
mean, you never know.
Project Odyssey.
Yeah, I'm excited for the Odyssey.
Yeah, me too.
Awesome.
Yeah. They showed nothing except a still of Chris Nolan on set. That was it.
Yep.
That's all they showed.
Steve Z for 10. If you haven't seen Tron Uprising, please see it. It's beyond great.
Yep, it's awesome.
It is awesome.
Bo Edmonds for 2. I'm with Rob. 4K on all Tron movies.
We'll get it. We'll get them.
Graph Web for 2. In the name of all that is holy, hashtag cancel Disney Plus. There you go. Jeff Romadix for 5. I want to see a Jared Hess indie movie about Jason Momoa's character, but without Minecraft and all the other characters.
I thought that part was fun. I thought his character is like a Billy Mitchell type, Like
Napoleon Dynamite. If you really watch it, he's just channeling Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah, which I enjoy.
Yeah, and I
There's already
honestly,
a movie based on it. Then
he almost felt like some kind of like 80s like WWF like pro wrestler. He had like this Bret Hart feel to him. No, I thought I was going to hate his character, but they did all right by him.
It's going to be so funny to see him in Dune Messiah, which he did confirm they forced him to admit during Minecraft press.
Great.
Raven of the Writing Desk, member for 22 months. Shout out. Thank you. Fourth 1,000 for 10. Minecraft is how you save cinemas, not superhero life support shit. You can't demand the kids play with our old people toys. For the first time since the Dragon Ball movie, my kids begged to go to the movies.
I think in the end, although Minecraft isn't for me, it's a positive story. And it looks like everyone had fun. That's what going to the movies is about. They'll want to see other movies because of this. And I agree. This is what are kids into? Video games. Okay, you can tell stories in those worlds. Make them authentic to the IP. So it's possible. I still think you could have made a better Minecraft movie, but that's just me.
Well,
Rossi
Zelda's going to be a
2.
big one. So I mean, if they screw that up, I don't know where they go from there.
Rossi for 2. I love Badger 100%. Erect Rose. Thank you, Rossi, my short king. Thank you.
That I couldn't believe you read that.
I have to read Rossi's. Francisco Sanchez Jr. for 20. I believe Gunn is sincere in what he obviously wants to do. However, I like Super, Slither, and Guardians. The rest of the stuff he has had a hand in, not so much. Soups is a hard pass for me. This will not make $1 billion.
All right, we'll see.
Fourth 1,000 for 5. Slither, Peacemaker, and the Suicide Squad, all about aliens who turn people into drones via hive mind. Hopefully not Superman 2.
Well, I know something of the plot, the loose plot from Superman, and it's kind of a comment on things today, which I think is not pushing any agenda, just food for thought. It could be good.
C Black for 5. It's crazy. People want Fantastic Four to be bad and Superman to be good, but it actually might be reversed. Rather, Matt Shackman will surprise with Fantastic Four. Not based on what Robert just told us and Chris and all them.
I mean, I want that. I want all of it to be good. And just because a trailer is bad or a trailer is good is no reflection on the movie. Bad marketing.
One will not make the other a bad movie.
The Brujo for 5. Thunderbolts. Does it at least have Drew P. Weiner in it? Also, happy birthday, Robert Meyer. Yeah, no, that's how I say it. Jeff Maddox, member for 15 months. Give me Beta Ray Bill, you cowards.
We kind of had a little tease.
Had the face, right? In Ragnarok. Yeah. Jeff Maddox for 2. Chris is the SpongeBob meme. Laugh out loud.
Oh, that one when he was getting off his chair.
Oh, when you were getting off your chair, yeah.
Was that? Yeah.
They look very similar.
All right. Make the meme.
Gen Xer on the farm. Shout out. Became a member.
That's great.
Stevie Z became a member. Steven Angiano, excuse me, for 2. Bring back Screamboat. It got snuffed in theaters.
It was. We had fun with that. Alan, we have the Q&A for members only on the Film Threat channel. So,
and we have an interview too with the filmmaker.
They were great.
Francisco Sanchez Jr. for 5. You can make the window 12 months. This isn't the 1980s. The vast majority of movies released today aren't worth a theatrical experience.
I would say, I'm thinking, Alan, I'm pitching San Diego Comic-Con on some panels. I hope I get it. I want to do a panel on public domain horror films. It is now a genre.
Yeah.
Rob, would you be on the panel?
I'd love to do that.
Let's do it. I'll pitch it. I'll see what they say. They rejected me at WonderCon. I got no panel. But maybe this
Big Worm, shout out for 10. Replying to the Minecraft movie. It was made for a specific group. Yes, it was, but it was still pretty bad. My sons and their friends liked it, but they are Star Warsing it. It was a Jack Black fever dream.
Yeah.
Jack Black was the main weakness of the movie.
Dr. Certifiable for 5. It might not be her fault alone, but I'm not going to shed a tear for some woke see you next Tuesday.
Well, there you are. And with that, thanks to our mods, Lord Thoth, MK Solid, thanks to Atomic Lori and Glenn Nuccio. And wait, what's on Pinterest? What am I looking at? Oh, yeah, there. Okay, there's the meme. The meme we have discovered. Here it is. Here, I have it. I have it here. So let me show it. I'm gonna show the meme. This is me. I'm gonna get right out of the chair. I'm gonna head out.
I'm gonna head out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna head out, folks. There I am. There I am. What am I doing?
That's awesome.
All right. All right. Great. I did the meme. All right, everyone. Plug your channel. Tell me what's up. And yeah, starting with Rob.
Well, you can get all 10 chapters of True Noir, The Assassination of Anton Cermak at truenoir.co. And then you can always find me on YouTube at The Burnett Work.
Cool. Script.
Yeah, you can find me this Saturday at 7 p.m. on my channel, youtube.com/scriptdoctors, where I'll be reviewing a screenplay called Mother's Home, which is a sci-fi horror story where a revived mother who's been cryogenically frozen for 25 years kind of wreaks havoc on her family after that long absence. So be sure to check that out.
Cool. And a quick super from Sean.
Jan Hugh for 742. Unfortunately, I probably won't live long enough to see the public domain of Big Bird kaiju movie. Yeah, I would love that.
That could happen.
Rossi for 2. Just wanted to say much love to Chris, Badger, and crew. Erect Bros. Always Erect Bros.
Nice.
That's a badger.
And Dante.
I'm choosing to believe it's a badger. Yes.
Dante.
Yes.
Dante, plug your channel.
Yeah, guys. Rebel Riot, Rumble, YouTube, and X. I have my review of Minecraft coming up very soon, probably by the end of the day or tomorrow. I have my Tron Legacy reaction and sort of big announcement, I guess. VRL is going to be back this Thursday at 6 o'clock. I'll be live again for the first time in months. So tune in 6 p.m. PST on YouTube.
And you're looking for a gummy sponsor. So if
I'll be looking for a sponsorship from any gummy company. I'm a fan. I partake. So yeah, hit me up.
Gummy reviews, Dante. You've got to do them. Elaine.
Yeah, you can find me here at Nerd Cookies on YouTube. And for more delicious coverage of sci-fi, fantasy, news, theories, and lore, I've got lots of coverage coming up for Project Hail Mary, Tron Ares, and Dune Messiah. So thanks again.
Steph.
My Nerdy Home on YouTube. I have a few videos coming out this week covering Minecraft, Rachel Zegler, and the unfortunate downfall of Snow White. So
cool. And Badger.
Badgercast coming up 20 minutes.
Cool. All right. Thank you, everyone. Really, I love doing verses with all of you because we used to have these. Remember, Rob? We had these conversations in San Diego, huddled around the hotel bar.
Oh, yes.
We were doing verses IRL in the 90s. We just did it organically. That's what nerds did. So I appreciate being able to come together every week. Alan and I'll be back with Hollywood on the Rocks on Wednesday, and our review Film Threat live cast on Friday.
We'll be talking about tariffs.
We are definitely not talking tariffs. Alan,
let's get out of here.